Welcome to the Best Believe podcast. I'm your host, Michaela. I know what it feels like to have my head submerged underwater, not knowing how I'll get back up again. It wasn't until I reached my hand out to Christ and started implementing His word that I was able to move toward the journey of my dreams without the pain or overwhelm. This podcast is dedicated to helping you walk in your purpose, showing you that you aren't alone in your struggles, and that you can get unstuck and become the person God destined you to be in your faith, business, health, and life. You can expect mindset strategies, tips, and purpose-driven action to help you turn your crisis into opportunity. I'm here to show you there is purpose in your pain, and when you fall, I'll remind you that you are a warrior and you will get back up no matter what season you're in. You aren't alone. Best believe we are going to get through this together. Welcome to the Best Believe podcast. This is Michaela, your host. I'm so excited that you're tuning in because I just finished a mentorship lesson and I wanted to share some things that we talked about and some solutions that we came up with. And I thought that if I shared it with you, maybe it could help you on your journey. So recently I just started therapy, and this is something that God has been speaking to me to start for a very long time. And I just neglected to do it because I didn't have insurance and all the excuses I could think of. But I finally was like, okay, I'm just going to go head first and just do it. And so that is exactly what I did. And when I went to therapy last week, it was really nerve-wracking because I had to dig up a lot of trauma from my life pertaining to abuse, anger, taken advantage of, all types of things that I was having to uncover, uproot, and to figure out why I'm having certain issues in my life pertaining to authority of men, pertaining to being led by my emotions, pertaining to having a lack of self-control and being inconsistent, feeling unheard. So I don't know if you're having the same struggles as me, and if you are, this episode is going to be perfect for you. Today was my first day with my mentorship, so I did this kind of bundle thing where it was therapy and a mentorship session. And today was my first mentorship session with Kaya the Creative. I don't know if you know who that is, but this is someone on Instagram who is very selfless, who is on fire for God, and someone that I wanted to communicate with, to be mentored by, because she is in a place that I want to be. And so, yes, even I get mentored. But a lot of the things that we discussed was because I was having a hard time overcoming them on my own. So this is also your push that if you need mentorship, then you should go and get it. Because even me, I mentor people and I still get mentored. It is always a learning process. So based off of issues that I've been having in my day-to-day life, like being super inconsistent with everything, whether it's my eating habits, me working out, cleaning, organizing, my business, this podcast, I've been so inconsistent. I'm also struggling with having anger and, like I was telling you, being led by my emotions, but she was describing that your anger and your emotions have a deeper level. So we need to grab it by the root of where it's coming from and remove it. So my inconsistency can be coming from a lack of self-control. My anger can be coming from feeling unheard. So we came up with solutions to get over these things and start working towards uprooting those labels that we made. Here is a list that we came up with today: lack of self-control, feeling unheard, insecurity, inconsistency, and fruits of patience. So for lack of self-control, she said to ask myself, how can I build small habits that help me build self-control? Whether that's making my bed every day, whether that's picking my clothes off the floor immediately when I get off the shower, whether that's washing a dish immediately after I put it in the sink. What is a small habit that won't take too much effort to start building self-control? Or instead of building, maybe it's what is it that I want to deny myself in small ways? So for example, no, I'm not going to abide by my flesh today. I'm going to be in the spirit at all times. No, I'm not going to eat that today. What is something that you can deny yourself in small ways? Because of the difficulty I have in communication with expressing myself in the moment of having those high emotions, she was saying to ask the person that I'm communicating with, when I respond this way, can you ask me what emotion I'm feeling? Because this will help me process the feeling that I'm having in order to dissect the emotion, because sometimes we can just respond based off that emotion, not even realizing where it's coming from. So by putting a name and identifying and dissecting the emotion, it's going to help you notice and change that behavior through being intentional. And it is going to cause you to have to ask the other person to help you. And so with their help, it is going to allow you to have better communication within that relationship and minimize the issues that are coming up. Because for me, I've been having issues in my relationships because of the way that I communicate, because I don't know how to put words to what I'm feeling. So I just react. I just respond. There was something that really stuck out to me that she was talking about, which was about affirming myself and how affirmations are about who we are in Christ, even though people try to take affirmations and use them in demonic ways like manifestation and all of those things, when in the Bible is full of affirmations like I am strong and courageous. So she was saying that by affirming myself, this is going to help remove those insecurities from within me that I have and uprooting them, which is in return going to build belief in my subconscious mind. So for example, here are some affirmations that we came up with. This is a season for my good. God will not abandon me. The person I am involved with is not like my past. I am gentle. I have self-control. So every day when I wake up in the morning, I need to affirm myself, which is going to replace the lies of the enemy, because sometimes I'm just responding because I'm believing what the enemy says about me, which is that I am aggressive. And I say that constantly, not even thinking about it. And so she was saying that waking up in the morning saying I am gentle, and then speaking, Holy Spirit, help me walk in gentleness. And I continue that and build a habit of that. In those moments when I am becoming aggressive, I'll be able to stop myself in the act and remind myself that I am gentle and I won't respond in the way that I used to respond. And so that's going to keep me out of bondage and remove those strongholds that I'm having. We also talked about trauma and from the past and how our memories can trigger us because of unforgiveness. And so she reminded me that forgiveness is a daily decision. And so if there is someone in your past that you do not forgive, every single day or every single moment you are triggered, you have to say, I forgive XYZ. I forgive this person. She also said, even if the memories come, say, Lord, I lay these memories down to you, and allow yourself to live in forgiveness, because as it says in the word, I forgive you because you forgive others. And it really feels like I'm in a season of crushing, like I'm just being crushed down to where he's removing every bit and piece of me that is not like him, all of the hurt, all of the pain that I'm holding on to from childhood without even realizing it. She reminded me to think about it in a sense that this season is for my good. And being patient in this season because I'm gaining my authority through the season. I'm gaining my authority through the journey because I'm understanding the power that God has given me. I'm understanding where God has called me to. And this season is how I am able to become the person that can really be there for you guys. Become the person who helps others out of their suffering. And so something that I've never done before that she instructed me to try is inner healing. And inner healing, as she described to me, was going back in time at a memory, whether it's scheduled or a memory just comes up, but dissecting it. So asking yourself, who was there? Asking yourself, what was I feeling? So what emotions were you having? Asking yourself, where were you? What was your location? Was it at home? Was it in a city? Because certain locations can have certain memories that come up. So when I think of Houston, I think of when I went through abuse, when I went through domestic violence, when I went through all the hardship where I was threatened or I was beat or I was suffocated. So all those memories come up. And then lastly, ask yourself, where was God? This is going to show you that God was there through every single hardship that you've had. And it's going to allow God to bring his presence and heal you and comfort you from these memories and help you uproot them. And so the solution for each one is, for who was there, the solution is forgiveness. So saying, I forgive this person. For what was I feeling? This is where you come out of agreement with the emotion and you state and command and declare that this emotion will not make root in your mind. For location, you just ask God, heal my memory. And for where was God, you thank him for being there. So overall, the mentorship session was very therapeutic and I got a lot of insight, and I hope that the things that she's told me will in return help you. So until the next time I meet with her, I'm going to be working on communication. I'm going to be working on building small habits or denying habits. I'm going to be affirming myself daily, and I'm going to do those inner healing practices. I just want you to remember, trauma is tough to overcome. Seasons of suffering are hard to overcome, but they won't last forever. So embrace the moment, embrace where you are, and enjoy the process, even though the process may be hard, but this is where your strength is going to come from. God's going to show you his strength through your weakness. So give yourself grace and don't beat yourself up about it. Taking the first step was the hardest step for me. And so I can only imagine how tough your first step is going to be. Whether that's starting the business, whether that's initiating healing, whether that's seeking out help, whether that's getting your health and wellness right, whether that's not being argumentative, whether that's healing. Everything takes time. Everything that God has called you to do is going to take courage. You have the courage within you, so claim it, declare it, and thank God for providing that courage to you. It took courage for me to book that mentorship and therapy. It took courage to record this episode and tell you the things that I'm dealing with and the solution. It takes courage for me to launch a business that I have no idea if people are even going to support it. But I do it because I know that if God called me to it, He's there with me through it, that He validates me. And when I show up not worrying about myself, that allows Him to flow. Because healing from my past doesn't only benefit me, it benefits you, and it benefits every person in the future that I'm going to meet who wants to learn and grow and overcome their trauma and their pain and their hurt. My story is going to help them. The things that I've learned through the journey are going to help them. How I've built my authority is going to help them. What is something that God's called you to start that you haven't started? Maybe you haven't started because you already have too much going on. So how can you make room for more? What is something that you can let go of in order to receive? Maybe that's old mindset, maybe that's old habit, whatever it is, how can you make room for more? And sometimes we're waiting on God. We think that we're waiting on God, but really He's waiting on us. So what do you already have in your hand that you can use? Even when the doubts come, because even Moses doubted his speech, but he still allowed God to use him. He didn't allow that to hold him back. Your reaping season is on the way. So continue to sow. Continue to sow in this season. Continue to allow God to work through you in the crushing, because through the crushing becomes a beautiful process, like oil, like wine, for example. Through the crushing of grapes, wine comes to pass. Through the crushing of olives, olive oil comes to pass. Continue to allow God to work through those broken pieces so that He can put you right back together. The beginning of the episode may feel all over the place, but it was immediately after my mentorship, so I just kind of wanted to speak about it while it was on my mind and share with you, the things that I wrote down and the things that I'm going to work on to let go of that hurt, let go of that pain, and stop allowing my past to impact my life now. I don't want to continue life allowing my old memories or old emotions from 15 years ago trigger me into responding a certain way when that's not who I am. That's not who God called me to be. I want to remind you that you are not alone. And best believe we are going to get through this together. There's so many amazing things happening, and I'm very grateful for your support through this come with me journey, figuring it out along the way. So I'm grateful that He's given me the vulnerability to be able to share this journey with you, because we are on the journey to our dreams, the divine purpose, the divine calling to walk in our authority. I'll see you next time.